So I don't consider myself an old head by any means, but when it comes to streamers, I've never understood the hype. There's always been a disconnect there. Like, I used to burn Lil Wayne songs onto CDs and bump them in the car with my grandfather in the whip, and he would look at me in disgust as I'd play these records for him, and I kind of feel him now. Like, I feel like a hater. Like, I mean, if you guys have been following this page, then you know that we occasionally do a little bit of Drake hating here. Occasionally, not all the time. But I'm not a hater in general. I'm a creative guy. I appreciate creativity, artistry, whatever it is that you're doing. If it's creative, I respect it. But I feel like every story I hear about a streamer, it's never by choice. I never go out of my way to find out what Cenat is up to. It just pops up on my feed. And it's always some BS. It's never something of substance. Like, we're going to talk today about a lot of different things that all tie into this issue of Lil Tjay and Fivio Foreign smoking in an Airbnb. And it's like, people have really managed to make 30-minute discussion pieces about this one social interaction. And to me, like, before I did actual digging into what streaming was all about, this type of situation was what I thought the root of the stupidity that stems from streaming. Like, even the gossip and the drama that comes out of it is pure nonsense. And I'm gonna play you guys some clips in this video where it's like one streamer reacting to another streamer, and I call this stuff like reactionception. It's like what I thought the basis of streaming was, in my ignorant, old head, hate-fueled opinion, is one guy reacting to what one guy said about what another guy did. So Lil Tjay and Fivio Foreign pop up unannounced to the streamer PlaqueBoyMax's live stream.
Oh, what's good?
Shot.
Damn, there's
Sup,
mad. What's up, buddy? What's up? I understand it. I understand it.
I think it's my first time on a Twitch.
Oh my
since
God.
2020. I was the first rapper on the Twitch on Adin.
Oh no. No, that's the first stream I ever watched on God.
And then the first rapper to stream collab.
It's crazy.
Now we outside.
And they start doing what rappers do, rolling up some woods, blowing loud all over the Airbnb. And this guy PlaqueBoyMax, whose Airbnb it is and whose stream it is, politely tells them to stop.
Who's smoking? Who's smoking? Yo, TJ.
What's up? Who the
Yo, this a B&B. You can't smoke in here. This don't go off. Yeah. I appreciate you though. But yeah.
Yo, tell
Then he's got to tell them again.
Yo, bro. Yo, you can't smoke in here. This don't go off. Like, please. I appreciate you.
And a final time before they decide to leave, but not before blowing smoke in this guy's face for simply asking them to not set off the smoke detector.
Yo, I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro. If niggas smoking here, I'm gonna have to set this down. Like, yo. Like there's a backyard.
Oh, Bobby. Where you going?
No, I'm gonna go through.
Where Uncle?
It's in the back. Can you show them?
No.
Oh, they different? Alright, Alright, brother.
And then comes in the reactionception, which streaming is fueled by. You had rapper Asian Doll give her dumb take on that. If you're inviting rappers to the Airbnb, then obviously they should be allowed to smoke. I don't know if she knew that they weren't actually invited. Then the streamer YourRage reacts to Asian Doll's reaction of PlaqueBoyMax's stream.
I don't tell you to stop streaming. Don't tell me to stop smoking.
The dumbest. Yo, I'd be so embarrassed I gotta share the same skin color as some of you brain dead low IQ. I don't tell you not to stream. What the f? That's no correlation.
Then Asian Doll reacts to YourRage's reaction to her reaction to the PlaqueBoyMax stream by posting a picture of YourRage and PlaqueBoyMax snuggling up together, saying, "You're going a little too hard, buddy, but I understand why." Then you had Lil Tjay react to PlaqueBoyMax's reaction to him smoking in the Airbnb.
I pulled up and it's like, you feel me? My son said, yo, can you not smoke? Excuse me. A thank you or appreciate it, like that immediately. I ain't even put the blunt out. He said appreciate it. I'm like, you think I've been in jail, bro? Like, I ain't gonna lie, I've been in jail as a minor, bro. I was a felon at 13. I don't know who supposed to think Lil Tjay is, bro. You feel me? Excuse me, appreciate it. What type of reaction you really think you gonna get from that, gang? Like, you think you my mother, bro? Like, for real.
And we're gonna touch on this shortly. We're going to touch on Lil Tjay shortly, because I think this is the real root of the problem, not the whole streaming thing. Then you had Cenat react to the reaction of PlaqueBoyMax when Tjay and Fivio were smoking in the B&B.
See 100 in this room? I'm gonna give you the key. Look, this is the secret. You gotta have a green room. 100 is gonna pull up beep. You gotta have a room
where they could watch the stream and the main person that's supposed to be coming comes down and hangs out for the stream. Once there's too many people, that's when it gets crazy.
Then Cenat reacted to the reaction of Lil Tjay reacting to PlaqueBoyMax's reaction of him smoking in the B&B.
DDG. Hey, I don't got nothing to say about it though. You messy. Hey, I respect it. You messy little.
And now you got me reacting to everybody's reaction. It's just a whole recyclage of reactions to this one small awkward interaction between a bunch of streamers and rappers that really doesn't deserve this much attention. But when I find myself hating, I gotta ask, like, what am I missing? Where's the disconnect here? And how can I avoid being my grandfather listening to Lil Wayne? So I did a little digging, and that's when I realized that streaming is actually incredible. Now, we're gonna touch on why. We're gonna touch on the problem with Lil Tjay and Fivio Foreign. And we're gonna touch on why rappers have shifted from doing traditional hip-hop media to engaging and prioritizing interactions with streamers now more than ever. I mean, there's a reason you barely see rappers beefing with or sitting down with an Akademiks, a Joe Budden, an Elliott Wilson, a Charlemagne. Like, there's a reason that Drake went from rapping "You're gonna make me buy bottles for Charlemagne" to rapping "My youngins are richer than you rappers and they all stream," or even mentioning on his stream with Adin Ross that he's currently tapped in with PlaqueBoyMax. Little side note, as I'm editing this, I realized that I called this guy PlaqueBoyMax throughout this whole video. I'm sorry, it's PlaqueBoyMax. All these streamer names, YourRage, iShowSpeed, PlaqueBoyMax, like, even the names are ridiculous, but I realized that streaming is awesome. So we're gonna get to that in this video. So Lil Tjay was the first to react to PlaqueBoyMax's reaction to him refusing to put the blunt down in the Airbnb. He hopped on stream with DDG, another rapper slash streamer, and he said that due to his past, his upbringing, for PlaqueBoyMax to say appreciate that when asking to put the blunt down, somehow that was a form of disrespect.
Yo, can you not smoke? Excuse me. A thank you or appreciate it, like that immediately. I ain't even put the blunt out. I said appreciate it. I'm like, you think I've been in jail, bro? Like, I ain't gonna lie, I've been in jail as a minor, bro. I was a felon at 13. I don't know who supposed to think Lil Tjay is, bro. You feel me? Excuse me, appreciate it. What type of reaction you really think you gonna get from that, gang? Like, you think you my mother, bro? Like, for real, for real.
He then goes on to say that PlaqueBoyMax was lucky he didn't get slapped out by Tjay for, in my opinion, politely asking to put the blunt down. Like, did you want him to not say appreciate that? You wanted him to say, like, I don't appreciate you smoking in here? Like, what phrasing of the request would have been sufficient for Tjay to not take a very reasonable request as a sign of disrespect?
What type of reaction you really think you gonna get from that, gang? Like, you think you my mother, bro? Like, for real, just slap the shit out of you. I'm on camera, bro, so I'm woo-woo, like, you feel me? So, like, you get a little cold shoulder, like, who you talking to, feel me?
And I've seen a lot of other people comment on this situation saying that Max should have been more careful with rappers and their entourage popping up uninvited to his streams, or you know, not talking to people, as Lil Tjay put it, who come from a different background, who come from the streets, quote unquote, with any form of disrespect. And obviously, as you could tell by my very vanilla Canadian voice, that I have no authority to speak on how one should go about interacting with someone from the streets, or how someone from the streets should interact on a live stream, or just in life in general. Like, I inherit the soul of Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory more than a street guy. I'm very removed from anything gang related, anything street related. That's why I never touch on it on this channel. We never discuss this here, because I'm very aware and appreciative of the fact that as a tourist to this culture who just grew up listening to and loving hip hop, the music itself shaping who I am, we keep it focused strictly on the music here, because I live and breathe the art. But I'm very much a tourist to the culture, and I'm so grateful for all of you guys watching who have embraced me enough to allow me to speak on art and artists that I love, that I grew up with, that I admire greatly. But as far as street stuff goes, like, I inherit the soul of, like, my parents' little Maltese dog than I do a guy or girl who was raised within gang or street culture. But just as a logical human to logical human, I think as for Lil Tjay, regardless of where you came from, the codes you live by, when you've built a platform or business as large and as established as Lil Tjay has, your instinct to take, street issues public or adopt that mentality in a business setting when you arguably have the most attention that you've ever had in your entire career, it shows that your ego makes you greatly lack judgment, and if you feed into that ego, it will be the detriment of your career, and hopefully not anything else more severe. I say that because this isn't the first time we've seen, to put it lightly, concerning behavior from Lil Tjay over the years. In the summer of 2022, Tjay was hit multiple times by a firearm during an alleged attempted robbery. He sustained 7 gunshot wounds and was transported to a medical center, underwent emergency surgery. One of his friends, a 22-year-old, was also hospitalized in stable condition. Tjay initially remained unconscious, but it was reported about a week later that he was now alert and communicating, and about 2 months later, he posted a video update optimistic about his recovery, and while he was still wearing a neck brace about 2 months after the near fatal experience, he was confident that he'd be coming back stronger than ever. He did an interview on Hot 97 a few months later, detailing the events leading up to the incident, expressing disbelief that such violence could occur so unexpectedly. He detailed the pain endured and the determination required to regain his strength. He emphasized that the ordeal taught him the value of life, the importance of resilience. He mentioned a renewed focus on his health and well-being, recognizing the fragility of life, and spoke about his commitment to making positive changes in his life and his career, using the experience as motivation to pursue his goals with greater determination. This all sounded great, and even though it was an absolute tragedy of an incident, it sounded like Tjay learned an important life lesson and was determined to make a positive change and be a positive influence going forward. He then came out with his first song since the incident, titled Beat the Odds, where he detailed the situation, rapping, "I do my own thing, F it, I took 7 shots, no shame." But as far as him leaving the violence in the past, it was kind of questionable when you dive deeper into the lyrics of this record, with Tjay giving us bars like, "Back to the wall, I'm still gonna blow you down, I ain't got no stain, cause we catch a op and we send him to the sky. Shots all with me, lil bro say he trying to catch a body, seen bullets hit a op before he died, his face said, why me? Millies in my bank account, but still ain't nothing jolly, these guys back and forth trying to pop up like a ollie." And then, according to Genius, again, I have no knowledge on anything street related, but they claim he's name dropping directly his deceased ops, rapping, "Never had no doubt if I'm gonna make it out, no probably, cause I ain't dummy, raw, UE, or woo lottie." Then about a month later, he dropped another record, which was a freestyle to 50 Cent's song Many Men, where he continues referencing the incident, but not necessarily with the determination to make a positive change that he previously expressed possessing. He rapped on this record bars like, "They like, what's the beef? I'd be like, let's not recite the past, cause that's gonna make it even hotter when we get back on like what? Mr. Manny steady talking like he's tough, caught him, ain't have no pull, and he went skipping off the dust. Old street rules apply, I got hit, ain't wonder why. All prior, all I know is when they see me, it's goodbye. Think because I sing that I won't pack you. Face shot, I'll blast you. F mercy, no need." And obviously this is just music, right? I think it's important to use music as an emotional outlet to express how you're feeling in the moment, whether it's rage, anger, whether you're, determined for revenge. To let it out in the music is a lot healthier than actually letting it out in real life. But like I mentioned before, when you have this massive platform, when you have, cable news channels with audiences of millions of people reporting on your near fatal experience of surviving 7 gunshot wounds, when you have all these new eyeballs on you now rooting for your recovery, you'd think that the first piece of art that you'd release since the incident would reflect the more positive headspace that you would now hopefully be in, or the positive changes that you'd hopefully be looking to implement into your life. So it was just a bit questionable when you're not only now miraculously getting a second chance at life, you also have a bigger platform than ever because people who had never heard of you before are now tapped in due to the global coverage of this insane incident that you just survived. And you decide to kick off this new chapter with this type of energy. It's just a little questionable of where you actually plan on taking your career from this point moving forward. And as we've seen, this was in 2022. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Lil Tjay has had a hit as big as any of his songs that were released prior to this incident. Truthfully, I can't even name you a single Lil Tjay song that came out before 2021, and at one point he was one of the most promising acts to come out of New York from the new crop of artists that came out during that 2019 era, the DaBabies, Roddy Ricches, Polo G's, Fivio Foreign, which we're going to be touching on very shortly. But overall, I think a lot of these rappers highly underestimate the value and importance of likability within their personality, and how in the internet era that's just as important as the music being good. You acting like a toddler because someone told you to put your blunt down is not going to make anybody excited to check out your next song. I mean, unless you plan on dropping a My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, you can't expect to be cancelled as many times as a Kanye West and fans to just blindly forgive you. And no, you beefing a streamer is nowhere near as bad as Kanye beefing an entire religious group, but your whole workin', Birkin, worth it, perfect rhyme scheme that you do is nowhere near a graduation. So there's levels to this. Your career is not untouchable, and especially when, again, we haven't heard a hit from you in years, your popularity is seemingly on the decline, and more importantly than that, you received a miraculous second chance at life just a couple years ago, and the opportunity to have more attention than ever. To take that for granted by seemingly refusing to evolve, mature, become more positive, become a better version of yourself, just seems like you're taking a step backwards. Again, I can't speak on anything street related in the slightest, but I do think you should be smart enough to know that you got to separate that from the person you portray to the world when you're in a professional setting. But who knows, maybe TJ's reaction to this whole situation was due to PlaqueBoyMax roasting his music and calling him zesty a couple years ago.
Lil Tjay is really trash. I don't care if it's hurting my nigga. I really don't care. All right, Lil Tjay, I'm going to put him D. I never, like, Lil Tjay, he just be moaning too much for me. He's zesty as shit. He just be moaning all the time. I'm not into that freak shit, but you can keep that though.
Now, as for PlaqueBoyMax, I knew nothing about this guy before this interaction. Again, I was very much not tapped into the streaming world, but after doing a bit of research on this guy, not only did I realize that what he's doing with his streams is actually really innovative, but it also made me realize that beefing with a guy like this, or disrespecting a guy like this as a rapper, is not the same as beefing with a media personality within hip-hop. It's a lot worse for your reputation to disrespect a guy like this than an Akademiks, an Adam 22, a Vlad, Joe Budden, Charlemagne, because unlike Max or the majority of other streamers, in traditional hip-hop media and journalism, most of these guys built careers off of talking about or critiquing a rapper's art or personal life. Their commentary, even mine included, centers around the artist, and those hip-hop media personalities, their fan bases, were derived from the opinions and commentary and reporting that they did on the music and on the artists. Whereas streamers, they've built their own world and fan bases off their personalities alone. Rappers go on their platforms and streams and arguably get more from being a guest on their streams than the streamer actually gets from hosting the rapper. Rappers need streamers in this new modern era of content creation or promoting your music or whatever you got going on, versus how the dynamic was with traditional hip-hop media, where the Charlemagnes, the Elliott Wilsons, they needed the artists to piggyback off their success to build their own career within journalism, whether it was through the interviews, the commentary. That's why rappers felt more entitled to be able to give vague answers during interviews, not give interviews at all, dismiss these guys in general. You treat a streamer that same way, you're now disrespecting that streamer's entire fan base. And in 2025, unfortunately, these streamers have much bigger fan bases than most of these rappers. And in an era where streamers have much more popularity than rappers, I think there's a much bigger question to ask, rather than will TJ or Fivio Foreign's careers be hurt by disrespecting a streamer, and more so, will rappers' pockets be hurt by not embracing this new wave of media more and aligning themselves with streamers, or even becoming streamers themselves. I mean, we're in the process of seeing Drake right now currently subtly and slowly transitioning from a full-time rapper to a part-time streamer, coming off arguably one of the biggest rap beefs of all time, and instead of devoting interviews to hip-hop journalists to discuss the beef, he turns to streamers like Adin Ross or XQC to throw subliminal petty sneak disses at all of his fragile ops.
You have to switch this song on.
It's on a play, you know, so like.
You have to switch this one. We're real Sixers. We're real Sixers. They're real six side. We don't listen to that.
Guy's like a fragile op, but
It's a good song though.
It's a fragile op. Okay, interesting.
It's like a fragile op, but it's a good song though.
What does that mean, a fragile op? No.
Chat knows what I'm talking about.
You're also seeing many more instances today of these streamers in their 20s starting these streaming careers, and just a couple years later, they go on to get multi-million-dollar deals from Kick or Rumble or whatever. You're seeing a lot more of that than any young rapper starting off and in a year or two quickly getting a record deal the same size as a streaming deal in the same time period. Like Drake said, my youngins are richer than you rappers and they all stream. The days of a Lil Pump at 17 years old finessing Warner Brothers out of $9 million are long gone. NBA YoungBoy was the last rapper I could think of in their late teens, early 20s, bagging an 8-figure deal from a record label off of just 2-3 years of making music. Whereas a PlaqueBoyMax tweeted in April of 2021 that he had 9 Twitch followers, and now less than 4 years later, he has 1.4 million Twitch followers, and is probably making a lot more than, I think it's fair to say, a good 90% of all rappers signed to a major record label. And why I say I realize that streaming really is this incredible thing is because it's a lot more than just one reactor reacting to this, reacting to that, this whole reactionception. These streamers like a PlaqueBoyMax are now blurring the lines between content creation and music creation and making much more money than any of these rappers in the process. I didn't realize, but he hosts these song wars where he invites rappers onto his stream to compete against each other in front of a panel of judges. That platform, that Song Wars tournament he created, has helped multiple artists garner viral hits after playing them on his stream. We also just saw that Tweaker song blow up just because it was played on Neon stream. I mean, that song alone outstreamed any single song on Lil Baby's new album that came out around the same week, and its buzz was all thanks to being played on a large platform like the streamer Neon's live stream. PlaqueBoyMax also does these in the booth sessions where he links up with artists who create songs in his home studio live on stream. He's both a streamer and an artist, again blurring that line between content creator and rapper, which in the internet era you kind of have to be both, unless you're a JPEG Mafia or a J Idea who can just let the music do the talking. So I think overall, a lot of these streamers incorporating hip-hop and music creation into their streams, it's not just setting the stage, no pun intended, for the next phase of media within music, but I think with a lot of hip-hop fans now flocking to go watch these live streams and these streamers now generating larger audiences and followings than most of these rappers, the power is now in these streamers' hands to dictate where the direction of music goes or how it's promoted in general. And it seems like guys like PlaqueBoyMax, who are blurring the lines between content creator and artist, are spearheading the next generation of hip-hop because they have the youth's attention and they're using their platforms to create music live, to judge music live, to premiere new records, and the audience isn't tuning in because they want to watch their favorite artist on a live stream. They're tuning in because they want to watch their favorite streamer stream. Like, you used to be able to say, okay, maybe Charlemagne is my favorite hip-hop media personality, but that's just because you like the type of questions he asks artists, the controversy he brings, the fearlessness in the questions that he asks. You're still tuning in for the artist first. Whereas with a PlaqueBoyMax stream, he might have your favorite rapper on, but odds are the kids are tuning in to watch him first and the artist second. So Lil Tjay, Fivio Foreign falling in the bad graces, if that's a term, of a PlaqueBoyMax and all of his fans, with so much of the streamers' fan bases being intertwined with the younger generation of hip-hop fans, Lil Tjay and Fivio Foreign are not just disrespecting any random media personality, they're disrespecting really someone who has a lot more dominance, influence, and love from the next generation of hip-hop listeners than Tjay and Fivio have themselves. Unfortunately, in this internet era, the music comes second to the personality that you bring. And if these artists don't realize that soon enough and leverage this new medium of streaming to connect with their audience, if they continue acting like these egotistical D-bags that feel like they're too good to offer a glimpse into their personality, release any content outside of the music, or at the very minimum, show respect to a streamer who has cultivated a much larger audience at this point than these rappers have, then these rappers are going to fall to the wayside. And I'm telling you, man, don't let Drake be the first one to capitalize off this streaming wave like he's done with so many other different cultures and trends. Rappers, if you're listening, do anything you could to build a social media following and use that as the foundation to push your music. Like, imagine if a JPEG Mafia ran off with this framework that PlaqueBoyMax uses where he invites rappers to cook up with him at his home studio live on stream. He'd be attracting a much bigger fan base today than he has by just dropping music. And I'm not saying that's what he wants. I'm sure he's happy where he's at, but a lot of these rappers are missing out on a really big opportunity by not leveraging streaming to promote their music. All it takes is a camera and a mic. But as for Fivio Foreign, he somehow one-upped Lil Tjay to have an even more immature reaction to this whole thing, going on TikTok to explain his side of the story.
I guess it's story time, right? That I wasn't even going to really like address this for real, but I feel like it wouldn't be fair because I can't let Max do this. I can't let Max do this. So let's start. I walks in the B&B. You know the f***ed up part about it is y'all only watch the clips that come out. When we walked in the B&B, when I walked in with TJ, the first thing Max said to TJ was, the first stream I've ever watched was you and Adin Ross. I swear to God, go rewatch it. I swear to God, they was cool. Everybody was cool with each other. They played the song me and 41 of them just made. We did a dance. We bust a dance to it. I ain't even know it was no weird vibes or nothing. I guess the chat must have said something to Max or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's when he was like, yo, you know, I'm gonna have to end the stream. You gotta, you know what I'm saying?
Keep in mind, this is a grown man pushing, like, I don't know if he's 40 years old, 35 years old. Whatever he is, he's too old to be having this reaction to this type of situation. And just like Lil Tjay, I can't name you a single Fivio Foreign song that has come out after 2022. Another rapper who had massive potential in the beginning of the 2020s with the whole rise of the New York drill era. But he did decide to record a diss track against PlaqueBoyMax.
And my real name Max, and I really got plaques. I'm the real PlaqueBoyMax. PlaqueBoyMax.
Then the whole reactionception came into play again when PlaqueBoyMax reacted to Fivio Foreign's diss song, which was an initial reaction to PlaqueBoy's reaction to Fivio's reaction to him asking them to stop smoking in his Airbnb.
Hold on, Favi, you dissing me or shouting me out?
Tell Cenat react to that.
Tell Kai we after that? Pause. Yeah, this the one, gang. This the one. Make sure y'all use the sound and let's get this viral, bro. Is this name really Max? Maxie? My bad, gang. I'm not trying to laugh at your shit. My shit Maxwell. Maxie?
And on a side note, as I'm editing this video, obviously the reactionception continues as PlaqueBoyMax reacted to Fivio Foreign dissing him by actually recording his own verse on Fivio's diss song.
I got hella plaques. I'm PlaqueBoyMax. Say they want smoke in here. Gonna take that to the back.
Now, I realize there's still a problem because even though I like the idea, PlaqueBoyMax is definitely still a terrible rapper. So the concept is there, incorporating the streaming and content creation with the music. I think it's dope how he recorded a verse on Fivio's diss song live on stream. But we just need someone with the same vision, using the same formula, the same recipe of cooking up music live on stream, but just someone who can make better music. Then this formula of this like hip hop, rap, streaming hybrid would definitely be great. And I don't know if I'm tweaking with this whole reactionception thing going on within streaming where it feels like everyone's reacting to something else that someone else did, which was a reaction to another thing that someone else did. And that's what kind of had me thinking at first that streaming was kind of lame and just reactors reacting to things, but I've quickly realized that these guys have a lot of personality. You have to have a lot of personality to keep an audience entertained for the amount of hours that these guys go live for, and they keep things exciting. Like iShowSpeed was in Colombia getting white powder thrown all over him. You know, you see Elliott Wilson complaining about the state of hip-hop media, but it's because, you know, the large majority of the most active internet users today, kids, want to be entertained in the highest degree possible. They want to see Speed being showered in white powder. They want to see PlaqueBoyMax cooking up a song live on stream. They want to see Cenat live streaming for 30 days straight. So to these rappers, more specifically Lil Tjay and Fivio Foreign, start your own live stream, smoke all the blunts you want on your own stream, or alternatively, don't disrespect streamers with much larger audiences than you on their own stream. Adapt to the future or get lost in the past.
There's a lot of little nuggets in both of their disses that if it wasn't for these breakdowns, and salute to, you know, guys like this, Rapaholics, because I think they directly get it.